Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Modern Entrepreneurs podcast video series. I'm Monique Garrett, and I am the host of the Modern Entrepreneurs podcast, and I'm the owner of the Margot Agency. I'm excited to share with you our second season of the podcast, and we're going to start including this new bonus of the interviews with you, and it's video. I know, it's super exciting. So now you'll get to see our interviews. You'll see how it is unedited pretty much for the most part, video interviews of the podcast. Now, I know that podcasts are great for when you need to be hands-free and you're most likely doing something else like working out or picking up the kids, or quite honestly, if you're like me, you're probably doing the dishes. But when you have some time and you really want to connect more with our guests, then these videos are going to be really special for you. Check them out. Hello.
Hello, Monica. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Hi.
Wonderful. How are you feeling? What did you eat?
I know, right? Oh, I don't even want to talk about it. So it's been a week. It took me like a week to fully kind of come back to eating normal. So it's great because I'm eating clean now.
How to get healthy real quick.
Exactly. Oh my God. I was so traumatized. I actually went to Carl's Jr.
Oh, okay.
You know Carl's Jr.? Okay. So
yeah, we have one just in the neighborhood now. Okay, yeah. It's just coming into Canada, so yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's either Carl's Jr. or Hardee's is the other sort of same place. But yeah, I went there and luckily I didn't get anything for my daughter who was with me because she had eaten dinner at my in-laws. And so I picked her up late and I was like, I just need to get something. So I went and got Carl's Jr. and that was the end of me, pretty much. I've never had food poisoning before.
Oh, and at least at least you know what it's from. Yeah. It's not just this mystery, like you ate at all these different places or you just ate at home. You're like, what did I eat? Why am I feeling so bad, right?
Oh, yeah. So. It was straight up them. I mean, even more so, I know, because I didn't eat lunch. That's how starving I was. I was just like, I'm so hungry. I just need to pick up something. Yeah, so lesson learned. But thank you for your patience with that. I was so disappointed. I was like, this is ruining my life.
No, but, I completely understand. I got a summer flu this year, and that's probably the worst thing ever because I'm like, I have so much that I want to do, and a lot of it had to do with video, and I'm like, there's no way I can make it on video right now. Like, I'm dying on the couch and just doing some client work and delegating out and just sort of cuddling up on the couch, and meanwhile, it's so beautiful outside. I'm like, I feel like I'm dying. Like, this is not good.
Yeah.
So,
how long did that last?
Oh, that was for 2 weeks. It was just, I flew into Vancouver from Edmonton and I was fine in Vancouver. But when I flew back, there were a lot of like coughing kids and stuff. And I don't have children personally. So I think there was just some kid bug that I'm not used to because I'm not around kids. So yeah, they were just like snotty and everything else. And I'm like, you're so cute, but you're so sick. And now you're coughing. And now I'm dying on the couch. So that's the only thing I could really see because my living and daily eating and activity and running, like that was all still happening. And it was right before I did my last half marathon. So it was just, please get my lung capacity back so I could run and finish this. So,
oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember it took me a few days. I mean, it, like I said, I didn't get to eat normal for like a week, but I think it was like after 4 days, I was just like, I feel better. I think I feel better. And I went on a run and I was like, okay, I need to sit down because I had no food in me. I had no energy to like do anything.
Yeah.
I was like, take it slow.
And how old's your daughter?
She's 3.
Oh, okay. So of course she's like, I want to play with mom and I want to do all this stuff. And it's just,
Oh my God, it was so hard. Luckily my husband, he wasn't there the night that I was sick. So that night I was like delusional. You just feel like you're in I don't even know. I couldn't walk. I was so weak. But when I was sick that night, and then that morning he came home from work and he was able, like, he goes to sleep, right? So like that's he works the night shift, and so he was going to sleep, and I was supposed to take my daughter to school, and I was like getting her ready and stuff, and I was just like, I had to tap out. I was like, I need you to take her, like I can't move, I have to cancel my day really. And luckily he was there and she was taken care of and stuff, but he told her, be nice to mommy. Don't jump on her. I'm like, yeah, please. Nothing.
At least you have that support system, for each other. So that's really important. That's great.
For sure. And it worked out because he's not normally available like that. So I was like, oh my God, I think I need to take advantage of this right now and just chill out.
Yeah. Does he always work nights, or is it nights and then days and rotating?
Yeah, it's rotating. He does, he works dispatch at a fire department in LA.
Oh.
So it's not only, it's 12-hour shifts, like either day or night. But yeah, and then it's like a far drive too. So he just is either working or sleeping. Yeah, pretty crazy.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And he's probably so busy too. Like from what I've heard about LA and fires, there's dumpster fires and stuff like that, right? And they probably get called out for everything. Yeah. So
so it is pretty crazy. Luckily he is dispatched, so he stays at the station. But there's just always something. And now it's like fire season, I think. So.
Yeah. Well, with all the wildfires that start up, at least he's right in LA. So it's, you don't have to worry about wildfires and forest fires.
We do see that, but I know my mom, she lives in South Carolina, and she's like, oh my God, is the fire affecting you? And I'm like, no, I don't even, it's so far away from us. LA's huge.
Oh yeah.
And then the desert and everything, we have every terrain you can think of. So it's spread out.
We had wildfires here last year, and it actually went into Fort McMurray, which is a big oil and gas city. Okay. It's very northern, but the forest fires started creeping in, and you could smell the smoke, but it's so many miles away. Like you can't see it, you can't even see the smoke, but you could smell it just because it's wafting over, and the way the winds go, and when the winds changed, it was really affecting us, but not to the effect that it's taking houses like it did up there. So
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, we'll get ash on our cars. We'll see. Wow. Something's something's going on. What does this dust?
This is interesting.
It was like, you're so out of the loop. We're on fire over here. Let's react. Where are you?
I'm in Edmonton, Alberta. Okay. So it is, are you familiar with where Alberta is? Okay. Because some people I talk to, and they're just like, so you're in Canada. Do you know people in Toronto? I'm like, well, I'm from Ontario, which is in Toronto, but I probably don't know them, but let's, see. But because technology is so, so intertwined, I end up talking with people and meeting people in Facebook groups that are from Windsor, or that I ended up knowing, or we were 3 blocks away. Brent and I were dog sledding. This sounds very Canadian.
Love it.
I won a radio contest, and it was up in Nunavik, which is up in the Arctic Circle. So it's really up there. Yeah. And we went dog sledding, and I ran into a guy in the liquor store, and I took a picture with him because I'm from a very small town in southern Ontario. And we had started talking, and I said, yeah, I'm from Essex. He's like, I'm from Essex. I'm like, took a picture, put it on Facebook. And one of my friends that I grew up with said, that guy used to babysit me. Like, that's how.
Oh my gosh.
Is, right? So it's just crazy, but I love it. I love it for that fact. So
that's so funny. So put me in perspective of, East Coast, West Coast. Where in Canada are you?
I'm closer to the West Coast. So BC, like this, it's going to be backwards, but if you're looking at a map, BC's here and Alberta's right next to it. And Edmonton's pretty much right in the middle of the province. Okay. So, and BC is above Washington, and in between Washington and Alaska, the Yukon's in there too. So
very cool. Are you from Canada, and that's like where you grew up and stuff?
Yeah, I grew up in southern Ontario. So a little town called Essex, and it has fields all around it, but there's a small community there, and it was a really strong community to grow up in. So my parents are still there. But,
nice.
Yeah. When I decided that, you know what, this isn't for me, I really need to get out of town. I said to my parents, I said, you know what, I don't feel this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, I think that there's a lot more opportunity in other places. And my parents actually said, you know what, go, because this is your life and you need to live it. You could always come back and visit. You know that you're always welcome home, but go and explore and don't let us hold you back.
Oh,
So
I love that.
yeah. And it's always been nice to have that support back home. And I started a couple different businesses before starting my business now. And they were just like, if that was the one thing that they were really iffy on for support. And I remember I started a dog walking business, and it was just a part-time thing. It's before side hustle was even a thing.
Yeah.
So what happens is I told them, you know, I really want to start my own business, and I've read up on books because there wasn't a lot of information even online, and it was just dog walking and pet sitting and pet visits and stuff like that. And my mom's like, oh, okay, yeah. And I said, well. I sort of rested on it for a night, and then I called them back because I was living in Northern Ontario at the time. And I said, Mom, what's going on with this? Because I'm really excited about it. I thought you'd be excited for me too. And she goes, Monique, you have to realize your father and have always worked for people. We don't have that want to do something on our own. We are happy going in, we're happy putting in our hours for the day, and happy coming home. So that's exactly what we do, you know, that we're happy, and that is our life, and that is our career. So, and right there, I'm like, okay, understand. She goes, we do support you. We're very excited for you, but we don't have that knowledge for it. Mm-hmm. And we don't have that ability that we're able to like fully support you. Like, we do fully support you, but we just don't have the knowledge for it. So keep going, keep doing it. We're here for you. But yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah. That's like my husband. He's just like, you know, he likes the idea of the 9 to 5, and that is comforting and normal to him. And what I'm doing, he's just like, it's so unknown.
And it's very different too. Like, when you take something that you're doing on the side and then going into it full time, it takes a bit to wrap your head around it. Like, I was out for vacation, but I was still working while I was on vacation. And even recently, when I was visiting my some family cousins in Vancouver and then come home, it's not, oh, I have to catch up. Oh, I have to go back into the office and everything's going to be piled up. It's not that at all. All of the clients were taken care of. Like, even when I was on the plane, I was writing blog posts and, you know, writing strategies out for a new client. And it's a part of your life. It's very intertwined instead of the black and white of clocking in and clocking out. So yeah, that's something that we live for. And I'm sure that you do too, right?
Yeah, totally. And it's hard to sort of help somebody else understand that. When it makes they're like nervous, like, oh my gosh, that sounds so crazy. But yeah, we live for it, and it's our energy source. It's kind of weird.
But and there is no right or wrong either. That's the great thing. Like, because it takes both to run the world, and it's supporting both as well. So it's just finding what works for you. Because going into a 9 to 5, like, I remember when I was engineering, sitting in the parking lot and being like, yeah, no, no one's seen me yet. I could still call in. I never would, but I was still, I just want to go in there. It's killing my soul. And I actually wrote about it. That's one of the first blog posts that I wanted to write when I switched company names. And it's because it's all about, you know, it feels like the lights are sucking out your soul and nobody was talking. And it was just so eerie. And people are sitting next to you, but you don't talk to them. Like, you have to write them an email. Now I have virtual coffees with friends across the world. You know, I have a friend in Haiti and the UK, and we'll sit and have a coffee and chat and just chat about our businesses. And there's more interaction with this person across the world than there was with this person that was sitting next to me on the computer.
True.
So
that's so wild, huh? And it's much cooler. It's better. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
This is great. I think we're going to do great on this.
Yeah.
I want to do an introduction. I'm like, we could just keep going.
We can keep going. And honestly, you could like put in an introduction before and be like, so Monique and I just got into it, and we're going to put you right into our conversation because it's like it's a virtual coffee right here.
Exactly. Really. Exactly. And that's exactly how I like these podcasts to go. So we're right on track.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check the boxes off. Let's go.
Done and done.
That's right.
I was going to tell you though, my husband's side of the family, his mom, is from Montreal. So yeah, we have like this big, Canadian, I don't know, just family tree thing that we always pull from because his mom, is French Canadian, and she always talks to us about her stories there. And he's been, and I've never been, and we always joke about moving there and like no, really, like we could do this. And he has dual citizenship.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's perfect.
I know.
How did you guys meet?
Well, so he was born here, and we worked at a restaurant together, and yeah, and his mom moved out here when she was like 11. Which, yeah, so that's crazy. And my mom actually moved here from South America when she was 12. So both of our moms, yeah, that's kind of weird. Now that I think about it, I'm like, oh. But yeah, we have very, very strong connection to Canada in this house.
Yeah. Montreal is my favorite place to shop in all of Canada.
Really?
It's like, it's like stepping into another country. And it's not the fact that they speak another language either. It's just everyone dresses up to walk in the street, and the clothes there you won't find, like, even though they have the brand name and the certain stores that you'll find other places, it's like all the new stuff just goes to Montreal first and then gets spread out over the years.
Oh my gosh.
So to walk in there, just like the stores, just it feels like stepping back in time a bit too, like when everything was a grand entrance instead of walking in and being ignored by salespeople or overrun by salespeople. It's such a medium, like a mix there.
Nice. So, yeah, I can't wait for us to visit it. Like, I can't wait to visit. He's been, but it's on the list for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's the great thing with your position, too, because you can travel all over. Brent and I, actually, we bought a 1978, a new one, GMC Vanjira camper van.
Nice.
And in September, we're planning on traveling out and then down the East Coast and seeing where our adventure takes us. So we have a wedding that we have to go to in September, but then going down Maine and South Carolina, and then probably into the Key West. I want to have key lime pie and fish tacos in one meal while looking at the ocean. Like, that just sounds like, yes.
Goals.
Right? So, and then we
awesome.
Down into Argentina and, go back around. And we were supposed to go to Alaska last year, but because of the forest fires, we decided to look at other avenues. So we didn't do our road trip up to Alaska. So we're going to do that. But we ended up in Europe anyways on a stupid, like, cheap deal. And we're just like, okay, let's go to Turkey and Rome and all these other places. Like, Alaska's nice, but there was forest fires. So we went over there instead. So, yeah.
A detour.
Right? It's things happen for a reason. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I love that. What does he do?
So Brent is a general manager at a casino, and that's actually how we met. So I was working food and beverage at the time, and so he runs the casino pit. And yeah, we've been together for 3.5 years and have a house together here. So yeah, we've had quite a few adventures together, which it keeps it interesting, right?
Oh yeah. My husband and I, we travel. I mean, we really travel every year, at least once for our anniversary. We just go somewhere, wherever it is. We've taken a train and just gone to Santa Barbara or anything. So we love doing that, but we always try and mix in other trips too as we can. And his schedule is so hard to work around, but yeah, we love just going anywhere, just trying, checking out new places and stuff. So totally great.
Brent's actually going to be leaving the casino. It's just one of those things about clients. Once I get a couple more reoccurring clients. There's a lot of ad hoc work that works right now, other than a couple of reoccurring clients, but just a few more of those. And he's helping me a lot with the business as is, which is really interesting too, because we both bring something to the business. Like, he's very technical. He loves website design, getting into code. And sometimes when I look at code, I'm just like, okay, this is what I want it to look like. Can you make it look like that?
Oh, yeah.
So that's why it's sort of, okay, we're going to go out east and we'll see, okay, if we have, when we have those clients in, then perfect. And it's all about finding the right fit too, because you want to bring on the right people too. So if we have that, then it's going to be a long trip. And if not, it'll just be 2 weeks, go travel around, come back, have a couple more days off, go and do another trip. So yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So tell me, you have a mechanical engineering background.
Yes. Here's the thing. Where I was living, it was very automotive based. This is where I grew up. People down the road, like, people were working out Chryslers and Fords and, working on the line, but I didn't want to work on the line. And I really thought, this is what I should be going into, because this is the industry here. And it was very like in the box thinking, because this is my community. This is where I live. This is what I'm going to do. Yeah. So I went to college for 3 years. I graduated with my mechanical engineering, automotive technology, tool, mold, and die design. It's like this long, the name of it, but whatever. And then I designed, they're called automotive fixtures, and it's not like a light fixture. They're machines that check car parts. And I used to tell people, I save lives because I design machines that check car parts so they don't malfunction and kill people. So it made me feel good, but I was really just tricking myself because it was like I said before, it's very, you are sitting next to someone and you go into work, you're told when to have breaks, you're told, and nobody like even went outside for breaks. I really missed sunlight, especially in the wintertime, because you go to work in the dark, you come home in the dark. This is your set time for lunch, and everyone just sort of like pushed their keyboard out to the side, brought their lunch, and started eating out of the day. And I'm like, what life am I living? For a while, I was just sort of feeding coffees to myself, and Tim Hortons is a big thing here. It's a coffee place, just a very common coffee shop. Okay. And I would get a double, which is very Canadian as well, which is like 2 creams, 2 sugars, coffee, and I would have 3 of them a day, and they're just like huge, just to keep going and to, I got the energy for it. Oh yeah, no, this is going to keep on going through the day. And with all that cream and sugar, you see your waistline expanding. I'm like, wait, what am I doing? And then you're starting to look at not only what coffee you're drinking. Okay, why do I need all this energy? And I was running as well, but okay, why am I feeling like this? And then everything sort of started coming into perspective on, this is not the life that I should be doing. And it was an unspoken as well. My parents never said, go into engineering. Actually, when I said that I wanted to go into engineering, my mom said, do you really think that's for you, Monique? Yeah. And I said, oh yeah, no, like I want to design and I want to make things. And she said, well, I just saw you doing more of connecting with people and you talk to everybody. And I do. Yeah. Yeah. And she goes, but if you want to do that, then definitely go to it. But, I didn't see you choosing that. So, but hey, and so yet again, I have to say my mom was right. And she's heard it a couple times. So yeah. But
wow. So how long did you do that for?
I went to school for 3 years, and then I was in the industry for 3 years. Then I took a break and I got out of Windsor and Essex County. I just took food and beverage jobs. I worked up north at a golf resort, a really well-known golf resort. So I was up there, and then I met a golf professional, and we went to Kingston and lived in Kingston, and then I started grooming dogs, and that was something that I really wanted to learn to do. So I ended up doing that, and then I thought, okay, I've learned it and I don't feel that I could do any more with it. Like I've done all this, and I'm taking on dogs that are a struggle for other groomers because they're a bit more aggressive and you have to take more time with them. But so I know that I'm doing something, but I need to do more. So so that push to do more. So the golf professional and I didn't work out, and I was offered a job on a fishing charter as a cook and deckhand. So I took that and moved out to BC and ended up jumping ship after a month because it just wasn't a good fit, and lived on an island of 56 people called Denny Island. And it's in between. My gosh. Yeah, it's That's on awesome. the coast of BC, and it's in between Port Hardy and Prince Rupert. And so I was bartending there and just meeting a bunch of people that come in, and then moved into the Kootenays, and that's when I started in advertising and marketing position, and I really enjoyed that and the people that I worked there with there. But it was a print magazine, and I just knew that there's so much more that can be done in digital. And that's when I started looking at other avenues of working in digital and sort of going along with marketing, because I've really enjoyed it and learned a lot from that company too. So
very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So what is it your business does now?
So what we are is a virtual assistance company, and we're a one sourcing company. That term's actually developed from Michelle Dale, where a client comes in and they have one point of contact to then have administrative, marketing, and creative services. So it's not delegating a bunch of virtual assistants. It's not, trying to figure out the plan of things. All of that's really done for them for the vision that they want. And what we really specialize in with Made in Monique is finding that passion and giving back with your business. So we have a passion to project strategy, which takes your want to give back into the community or globally and intertwine it. There's something outside of the digital realm, which is called strategic philanthropy. Yeah. And what we do is digital strategic philanthropy. So we take the people that you want to help out and find a way for your products to help them out as well as help your customers out. Headspace, the meditation app. Oh, yes. I use it. Exactly. So now that you use it, and if you're a member, that's actually one of the best examples and easiest examples that I've found for digital strategic philanthropy, is because when you become a member on Headspace, they donate a membership to someone else across the world that really needs that time in that membership. So someone that might not have the money for it, but you feel good because you're helping out and you're getting a good product, and they feel good because they're helping out someone as well. Yeah,
it's that one for one, like Tom's shoes. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Tom's shoes is another great one. That's just outside the digital room, but the PetSmart, when you buy a bag of dog food, they donate a bowl of dog food to a shelter in your area. So it's just, there's so many big brands that are giving back and using philanthropy. Mm-hmm. So it's a realization that you don't have to be this huge corporation. It doesn't take extra money, that you're able to grow your business while giving back. So.
What are some examples of some projects that you've worked on and that have been successful?
Oh, yeah. Well, even with Michelle Dale, she has her virtual assistance programs, and we're setting up a way for different women's shelters to have her programs for when people buy in on a program, so that they can learn the virtual assistance.
That's really a good idea.
Yeah, make their concentration. She also has a rock star program, which is about self-confidence. So looking on getting that out there as well. There's a gentleman that I work with in real estate, and he's in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. See, that's another great thing about working in the digital realm, is because it's global. It doesn't matter where you are. Mm-hmm. And he contacted me, and we're putting together his program right now where it's real estate investment, but he's also teaching the youth in Nigeria about growing with real estate and investing in real estate, because a lot of them just go with the government and and sort of, okay, this is what I have to do and this is where I'm going with this. But it's actually helping them to become a part of it and own something for themselves as well. So,
I love that. Very cool.
Yeah.
That is really great. I'm always thinking of ways, and I don't devote that much time to like executing the idea of a project, but I'm always thinking of ways of like, how could I give back? And it's hard when you're a smaller business too. You think, how much can I give or what can I do? But I'm sure you have experience with a lot of small sort of things that they can do, right?
Well, absolutely. And it's not just about donating money, because it's not always a monetary thing. And that's one thing that we don't actually dive into. It's not about giving the money. It's about giving your knowledge. As a marketing, business like yourself, you're able to help out and just give your advice to the Humane Society in your area. They're always looking for ways to get out, even just for you to go in and say, you know what, I had some ideas and this might really get the word out, or this might help. It depends on what your passion is and who you want to help. Do you want to help animals? Do you want to help people? Do you want to help people in your area across the world? So that's one thing that you really have to figure out first, and then look into it after that. Or as a business consultant, we have business consultants that consult for companies that are in very small companies that are in Africa, and that it's these female entrepreneurs that are just making, I'm trying to think, like clay bowls and paintings, and really trying to put their businesses in, and they just need some guidance on what they could do. And of course, their resources are very different than the resources that we have here, but a lot of the principles are the same. So consultants that I work with are able to guide them and say, here's some points to look at. Okay, you're bringing this in and you're bringing these products in. Do you need to actually bring someone else on? Will that help you out? And just things that a lot of people don't look at because they don't have that expertise and that knowledge.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
So how are some of the ways that people find you? How do people find you to work with you?
I talk with a lot of people on Twitter and in Facebook groups.
Yeah.
I have the website online as well, but I really love Twitter. And think, it's one of those things of Twitter is a way to connect with people that you wouldn't connect with at all. There's CEOs that you can talk with. Gary Vaynerchuk, like he does Q&As all the time, and you can actually ask him a question on the Q&A and it's him there answering, and that it's him answering. The CEO of Entrepreneur Magazine, like he's hilarious and is constantly posting stuff, and there's always one or two comments that are back and forth per week, and you wouldn't talk with these people otherwise. You wouldn't have any
access
other.
to them
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it really gives you access to everyone, and it also helps you share your knowledge with everyone too. So that's it. That's one of the reasons I really love it. It's not a one-way conversation at a wall. Yeah. It's communication with people. And that's what people really need to remember when it comes to social media. It's not about posting, it's not about bookmarking pages or bookmarking articles. It's about saying, Monica, I found this great article. You'd really enjoy it. Or, oh, this is hilarious. Yeah, Erica, this will be good for you. It's making those connections, and, you never know who you're going to meet. And that's the great thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's why I love this podcast. I get to meet so many amazing people.
Yes.
Yeah. It's really cool. If anything I get out of this, it's meeting people and just hearing just awesome stories. And I love it. This is my passion project, if you will. Cause it's just really cool.
And look at how much information, look at what you're doing for people too, and for entrepreneurs that really need motivation during the week, need to hear that person's story, and maybe it really resonates with them. And you're the person that's doing that, and you're putting it out there for them. And it's all these positive people. Like when you look back in your podcast history, everyone is so positive, and there's no one that's really negative and bringing in that just gross feeling, right? It's always been people that are very expressive, and even if they're a bit shy at the beginning, you bring it out in them and say, okay, tell me your story, tell me what's going on, because people want to hear what you have to give. And that's helping all of us. So thank you.
Well, awesome. You're welcome. Yeah. And I think too, I love that there's so many different stories, right? And then people tend to find an episode or a person that they connect with and like, oh yeah, I can really relate to that, or that's exactly what I was going through, or maybe I can do it too if they're doing it like that, and that's why I love having just a range of things and stories. And it's just, I think a lot of people, they just don't talk about it. And like you're saying, like you and I connecting, some being so far away, it's the people that are closest to you that you almost don't share these stories with, right? That
exactly.
It's just like, oh, I could easily tell this person here or this person, but we tend to just sort of close off and look at our phone or whatever it is that connects us to, something else. So yeah, I really like this. It's like, there are people out there. We're real people. We have real voices and real stories, and they're relatable.
Yeah. It was funny actually that you bring that, like, drop your phone. When I was in Vancouver, I was at a friend's. Oh, I have the same glasses.
You're not the same. Okay. My friend, he's in British Columbia. He has the same glasses.
Yes, we have the same glasses. We have the tall one and we have the short one. We have the same glasses. Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's awesome. Sorry, like, to completely side rail, like, you might be in California and I'm in Alberta, but we have the same glasses. So.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Oh, okay. So yes, Vancouver. I was visiting a friend there, and we were sitting at a table in his backyard and chatting and that. And it was early in the morning and having coffee. And he picked up his phone and then he started going on it. And I thought, okay, he's not used to having a lot of people around. He's a single guy, so. I was bringing up conversations about his backyard because it's beautifully landscaped and just what his plans were for the day, and still on the phone but answering. And I said, oh, what are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm just, catching up and playing Words with Friends, but I am listening, And I go, okay. I go, if you want to play Scrabble, we could play Scrabble, because I know that you have a board in there somewhere. And it's just because he's not used to having those connections like that, and having people around. So it's always like bring out the phone. Or we had a campfire and one of the guys is like, oh yeah, no, I think I know that song here. I'll bring it up on my phone. And I'm like, no, don't.
Yeah.
And he goes, but why? I go, because all of this that's happening right now is just going to end. And everyone's going to start bringing out their phone. Everyone's going to start looking at it. Then you're checking emails. And now you've just disconnected yourself from this entire experience of just being together with friends. There was a guy playing a guitar, like very, very granola and hippie, which I love, and which is right up my alley. But there's a time to connect and a time to not. And it's even bringing up the weather app. Brent loves looking, oh, the weather's going to be this. Brent, what does it look like outside? Have you stepped outside? And this is like,
you're like, yep, looks good. Looks about right.
And he's like, well, it's because we have a garden outside, and he likes looking at it like, oh, should I water tonight? Like, wait till tonight. If the skies open up, then it'll rain. You don't water, then it does, But yeah, there's a time to connect and a time to disconnect. That's one of the reasons also that I love a business like the one that we do, because once you shut down your computer, it's shut down. You might be thinking of a client, but it's just there's time to work and then there's time to not. But when you're not working, make sure to disconnect and enjoy that time. So,
yeah, I do make a very conscious effort to be in the moment, and when I'm off my phone and offline, I don't have a lot of notifications on my phone for that reason. And I actually just got back from a trip in Paso Robles, California. It's a lot of wineries, and my friend has a house up there that she usually does for Airbnb, and we just were like, let's go up there for the weekend. And then she's like, oh yeah, there's no internet. And it's really bad reception for T-Mobile. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. And it was great. It was great. Like, we would go to the local coffee house, and that's where we would, jump online if we needed to. And I FaceTime with my daughter and stuff. But it was so nice. I was like, just forced really to not be on, and it was great. And it was funny because, like I said, this is her Airbnb, so she had to like jump on and answer people and stuff, and I was just like, stop it. I'm like, that's a business now. Like, you realize that has overtaken your life. Like, that's your business. And she was just like, oh my God, you're right. And I was like, I'll just wait. I'll wait. And I'm like, yeah, dude, if I'm not working because I'm an online business, you can do this too. So yeah, that and we had such a great time experiencing the world around us and the things going on around us, the sounds and the music and, the smells and everything. It was so cool. I loved it.
And, you'll see on posts in that about grounding yourself. And one of the ways to ground yourself is to stand where you are, feel what's underneath your feet, smell, like, what smell do you smell? What do you see? And what do it's all sensory. The senses. Yeah. And making sure that you have those senses. And it's not just about the unconnecting, like you said, or disconnecting, but it's connecting with that moment. And it's not even with technology too, and always connecting in that moment. When at the last half marathon that I did, I was running, and I'm a talker. I'm not sure if you've noticed, I'm a talker. And I'm a talker while I run as well.
Oh, that's talent.
Oh my gosh. No, it's not. It just makes me slower, but I don't care because I enjoy the experience of it. But I'm the one that's like, yeah, way to go. Yes, you're looking great, and I just don't shut up. But it's a good thing too, because one of the girls that was the same pace of me, jogging, I should say, not running. We're jogging along, and she goes, and this was in Canmore, this is in Banff, and she said, I have a home here, and I travel in here, and my friend's never been here, and she's looking at the mountains, and she's looking at like all the greenery, and she's saying, wow, this is such a beautiful place. And we come here like twice a month on the weekends. Like, we'll spend long weekends here, and I don't look at it. I stay inside. And I said, it doesn't matter, because right now you've realized that, and you can enjoy this moment. Don't dwell on how you've been in the past. Enjoy this moment right now. You're in a half marathon. You're doing a run. You're on the trails. You just saw like a caribou right up in front of you.
Oh, that's
Actually,
awesome.
It was a moose. Yeah.
Still awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
And be in the moment right now. Don't dwell on, I should have done this. What are you doing right now? How can you make the most of that and live that moment in your life? So it's just so important that everyone does it, with or without technology. Just live that moment.
Yeah. So, and actually, that reminded me, on our trip, this area, the neighborhood she lived in, had deer like hanging out like squirrels and cats. They were everywhere. And I was like, this is so wild. At first I'm like, oh my gosh, like, nobody's going to believe this. And I would take a picture or something. And then my friend was just like, yeah, they're just everywhere. And it's not like a hunting area. So they were very just peaceful and interacting. And it was really cool. I was just like, wow.
On the island that I used to live on, that small island, I would walk home after closing up the bar. And it was mainly like sport fishermen, or in the winter it was industrial fishermen, like divers and stuff like that would come in. But I would go and walk home, and it was literally an uphill and then downhill, and then I was home in a 10-minute walk. Mm-hmm. And at night I would be walking, and there would be deer grazing in this small camping area that no one ever camped in. I think I saw one tent there the entire year I was there. But like there was these deer, and you would walk to them and be like, I would say 5-6 feet away from them, just because they're across the road and you can't, because it's a cliff off the other side. And you're just like, don't worry, not going to bother you. But you're walking in so close to nature that it's unbelievable to have those moments.
Yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That's what it was. Yeah. And you're just like, this is real. Like, this is in front of me. It's awesome.
I am Snow White, and I am bringing the animals to me.
You're like, nobody's watching, right? That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay, so with your business, you
Yes.
you have virtual assistants, right? That's
Yes.
the main, but then you
Yeah.
have this sort of passion project. Is it like a package that you offer that offset, or is that sort of what lures people into using you for virtual reality, virtual services?
Virtual
Virtual
reality.
reality.
Because that's where we are in life, virtual
Right?
reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the passion to project strategy. And what that does is it's a personalized strategy that works with business owners to give them a sense of how to connect with clients online, how to give back to their community or globally, depending on what they're passionate about and who they feel like connecting with, and how to grow their business from that. So that's a strategy that after it's done, people can either take it themselves and implement it themselves. They could have their own team, and we have monthly chats to make sure that they're on track with where they're going with it.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's something that they could say, you know what, Monique, just take care of it for me. Let's do it. Get your team on it. Let's get started.
Nice.
So yeah, it really gives people an option, and it all depends too, because it gives them what works with their budget. It's not just this is it or that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It really gives them different systems that they could be using, different ways of connecting and making it what works for them. So yeah.
So what do you do with the virtual assistants? What kind of things do you do for your clients?
We cover everything that can be done virtually. So nothing in-house filing, but
Yeah.
we'll do digital filing. We have website design. There's a creative design for social media. There's customer service. The list really goes on and on. So, there's people with Pinterest boards and Instagram boards. There's people with storefronts on their website that need customer service. So all of it's really personalized for what that client needs.
And then do you manage your team? Like you have
Yes.
how many people do you have on your team?
Right now, 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot to manage.
And it's all about organization. And that's one thing that when I was working 9-to-5 positions, I was always like, oh, they're so unorganized. And it just like crawls under your skin. It's like reading something with spelling errors and grammatical errors. It's like, oh, it just makes you cringe. Yeah. So that's me. So that's why that's all covered for the client, and it's all organized, and the client has a say in everything, of course, because it's their business. We want to make sure that they're happy. There's a discussion area that keeping them updated with what's going on, but they don't have to worry about, okay, I have some emails to go out. I sort of want them to say this. Okay, not a problem. And then I delegate over, have the emails written. They get to check them over before they go out, because yet again, it's their face out there.
Yeah.
This is what they've worked so hard for. And that's another big part of the passion is their business. This is what we live and breathe, and that's what they live and breathe. And a lot of people have to remember that too,
Yeah.
So
what do you use for project management? Do you use Asana or Basecamp or
Active Collab?
Active
Yeah.
Collab. I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's just it's so nice because from my aspect, when I go into Active Collab, it has all of the clients there. Then I click in. It has the daily tasks that need to be done, the one-off projects that need to be done. Then there's a discussion area for bringing that over that the client sees. So they don't have to see the back end and start getting nervous like, oh, they asked about this. Okay, no, don't worry about it. This is taken care of, and we'll have a discussion over here. So, yeah. So, it's nice. It's all uniform, and it just really works for myself and the team. So, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you do like Skype meetings with your team or?
Honestly, it's just the one-off meetings. It's not really a weekly meeting just because people are all over. So, you don't want to, okay, you better be there at 10 a.m. And it's a lot of just to sort of catch up with people. How's life going? Mm-hmm. How's your family doing? Okay, is this working with your family? Do you need more hours? Do you need less hours? What's going on there? And it's just a connection call. And I feel that the meetings that I have with team members that are just one-on-one, that I really get a feel for what's going on. And everyone's really honest and upfront too. So if something's not working out, or if they're having an issue with something, or an issue with let's say they're having an issue with Facebook events, then that's going to come out as well if it hasn't come out before in discussions. So yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. What is your how many clients do you take on a month? Do you limit yourself, or do you just take it all?
We don't take it all.
Okay.
It's finding the right clients. It's some people, everyone's different in their businesses. Some people really like delegation and saying, this is the way it's going to be done. This is it. Others people, they really want to talk with people and say, okay, you know what you're doing in your business. Let's talk about that. I want your opinion on it. And it's just making sure that we're able to talk like this. Some people are very, the attitudes have to mesh together.
Yeah.
And the right feeling has to mesh together. And that's one of the really big things that we look at. It doesn't matter how big or small your business is. It's if your mission and what you want to bring to the table, it really works with our attitudes as well, then it'll work. Yeah. And about like, if all of a sudden there are 500 people in my email box that say, yes, I want to work with you. You're down to earth, and I really like your passion, and I have passion too. And, all of them are like that. Then it's just like, okay, let's bring you on gradually and see start growing the team. That's awesome. That's the best thing about our business too. We're not restricted by office size. We're not restricted by, the physical part of it.
Oh yeah.
And I have people that have been contacting and saying, Monique, I love your message. I want to work with you. And I'm like, that is great. Let's keep in touch. Let's get to know each other a bit more, what you could bring to the table, what we could do for you, make sure it's a good fit. But right now I don't have the clientele for it. Although that could change within 24 hours. and that's the thing,
Yeah.
That's the great thing about our business is, we have consultants that have clients that don't have a staff, that they have a strategy and they need someone to implement that strategy for their clients. And this is something that we do for consultants and business coaches. So we either work as an extension of their business, or it's like an affiliate program where it's referring the professional business to take care of that. And all of the strategies are different for each consultant. So all of the programs are designed for those consultants as well. So it's making sure everyone gets brought on and nothing's missed, because it's making sure that everyone's taken care of. So yeah.
Okay. So is it? Yeah, it totally does. Yeah, it totally does. So is it during your sort of onboarding process that you kind of weed out the good or the bad? And I'm sure you have a system for that.
Yeah, all of it starts with a get to know you talk, or just a virtual chat. And it's really just, tell me about your business. Tell me about your life. What do you want to see from it? And if it's very cold, and, if it's those people that are, like I said, just cold and don't really, they just, I want this much money. I want this. Okay, it's good to have financial goals. That's great. But what else do you want? Like, where do you see your business growing? How do you want to help the people in your business and see them grow? What opportunities do you want to see for yourself and for those employees, right? So it's really about the full picture instead of just the numbers, because anyone could follow a system and get certain numbers, but you want to have the right system in place, and you want to have that full heart behind it. So
do you do that for clients too? Is create processes for them to streamline their? Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's a big one.
And it's funny too, because one of the last talks that I had, the guy actually said, "Oh, I want to learn what you do." And I said, okay, I'm curious why you want to learn that, because that's not in line with your business. And I know that from what you've told me that you like to learn, you have a lot that you like to learn about marketing. You like to learn about this. You like to learn about this. And you've taught yourself a lot about that. But how is that going to help you with your end goal and your end focus? So let's look at all the strategy. Let's look at your actual plan and stick to the focus instead of, oh, take this and this and this. Yeah. It's like, it's funny. I was just talking with someone before this, and Brent and I are right now purging out the house. We're looking at things. Do we use it? Is it broken? Like if we use it, we'll keep it. We'll find a spot for it. But it's because we moved in the house and everything sort of went into places.
Yeah.
But people need to do that with their businesses as well. If there's a platform, it's not giving you anything back, but you're on there and you're just a dead account, then don't be on there anymore. Don't have those emails coming in as a reminder, because it's going to overwhelm you and say, oh, I have to take care of that too. Well, if you're not getting anything back from it, then why even have it?
Yeah.
Really look at what's working for you and what systems are working for you and what's bringing in the most, and concentrate on those. Mm-hmm. So just do a digital house cleaning of your business.
There you go. Yeah, definitely. At what point did you start bringing on other people on your team?
Oh, that would have been, it was actually, Brent started helping me out. So I had a business before this called Firefly Virtual Services, and I worked with outdoor companies, but for doing their administrative and marketing. So with that, I really enjoyed the administrative and marketing part of it, but then I had a referral come in for a real estate agent. And it was a referral from a friend, and she's like, you know what, he really needs help with this. I'm like, okay. So I had a chat with him and decided to bring him on as a client. And I really enjoyed working with him because he's so passionate about what he does. He gives back regularly. Like he is a guy that really appreciates everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. And not that these other clients didn't appreciate it. And a lot of them were, rotating and one-off projects that were coming in, depending on the season. But it was a lot more fulfilling dealing with him as a client than it was for a pair of hiking socks and promoting a pair of hiking socks. So that's when I really started to look at, okay, I'm going to start changing things around. And Made in Monique, that's only come up for the past 5 months now. Mm-hmm. So that's when the switchover came over, and it started focusing more on the, looking at the business for what it is and helping heart-centered entrepreneurs. So yeah, for the team though, like Brent started helping me out. Then I was talking with another VA in a group, and she's like, I'd really like to learn some stuff. Is there any way I could help you out with a few things? And I said, oh yeah, why don't we just work together on this? And then, you could learn along the way, and I can't pay you a lot, but at least we could start stuff. And then a client came in, and I'm like, okay, now I actually really do need your help. I'm glad we started this. And then just started growing from there.
Oh, that's perfect timing then.
Yeah, I'm trying to even think when that happened though. That was that was a bit ago. It's like one of those things. It's amazing when you look back from 2 weeks and you say, oh, wow, I can't believe all that happened in the past 2 weeks or the past month. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's really cool. Well, let's wrap this up and let's tell everybody where they can find you and what you got going online.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me at madeinmonique.com. And we have the Passion to Project strategy. And one thing that I talked with you about, Monica, is that I really wanted to offer a fast line to the front to actually get the strategy. Mm-hmm. So you get the get to know you call, and then the proposal, just sort of an outline. And then you have the option of getting the strategy. So the strategy is regularly $1,500 Canadian. And for all you Americans, it's a deal because Canadian dollar is just crazy. But I'm offering it at a half off. And the reason that I wanted to do that is because everyone listening, they are trying to make something more for their business, and they're really trying to grow their business. And this is one of the right ways to do it, is by feeling good about what you're doing and giving back. So that's one of the reasons I really wanted to give a half off. And like I said before, the strategy is something that you could implement yourself. You could implement it with your team. You could have just a monthly call to make sure that you and your team are on track, mm-hmm. or you could put it over after that with a specialized, personalized program for yourself.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Thank you for offering that. And I hope everybody jumps on it, because that seems like a really good deal. And I'm going to check it out myself, because I'm like, I need to know what I need to do. Just sitting there. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what industry you're into. Like,
good point. Yeah.
There's been plumbers that I've talked with, and they end up connecting with getting water to certain villages that need it, and just being able to consult on that. So they feel amazing, because now this village has clean running water because you were able to give your knowledge on that. You're not donating money for supplies. They have other ways of doing that. They have other things coming together, but like, that's the whole point of it, because there is no other feeling than seeing someone else live a better life for what you've done.
Very cool. Yeah. Oh, I love this. Well, thank you so much, Monique. It's been awesome, and I'm so glad we caught up and it worked out.
Yes, I'm so glad that you no longer have food poisoning.
Yay, I've seen the light. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I might go on a run. I just feel so good.
And we have a thunderstorm going on. And yet again, like, this is going to seem very Canadian, like, because I'm in like almost a long sleeve, but it's just because we've had some thunderstorms, so it's cooled off a bit. So now it's like 72 instead of our 94. But gosh, it does get warm here in Canada, just to put that all out there for everybody. So,
everybody listen, it does.